I didn't want to be alive. I had the crushing weight of the world on my shoulders. But I'm here. I made it out. And I'm going to tell my story. The reason why I'm making this video is because of Dr. K from HealthyGamer. He made a recent video about suicide that I watched, and I will clip the part in which he asks for people's help.
What's awesome about this community is I can't do it alone. And last thing to consider for those of y'all that are struggling with suicidality is a lot of people think that when you're suicidal, you have no value because you look at some of these objective metrics. So there's one really big value. I mean, there's a lot of value in your life. I really believe that. But there's one thing that I want to make an argument for, which is that we need you. So if you look at the data, what you find is that peer support is very helpful. And honestly, this is such a weird thing. I was thinking about this and I was like, why don't we have peer support for suicidality? We have peer support for alcoholism. We have peer support for all these things. What about peer support for suicide? That's when it hit me. Oh yeah, they all killed themselves. So now we have a unique problem when it comes to suicidality, which is that we don't have survivors to show the rest of us how to survive. So we need a crop of people. I'm serious. When I say need, I say that with a capital N, who can get through what you've gone through, and then hopefully you can put together your life. And then there's literally a 287% increase in people under the age of 18, 287% increase of people who need you.
My name is Jonathan Potter, and I'm going to share my story of depression and self-doubt, and how now I'm in one of the best places in my life. Growing up, I was a gifted underachiever. I coasted by in high school and college, and I struggled with self-doubt and the pressure to live up to my potential. The self-doubt had a profound impact on my life. It affected my decision-making, my relationships, and my well-being. I found myself escaping towards video games where I could feel a sense of progression and progress in my life that I was lacking. And despite my grand potential, I kept taking the easy path in life, such as going to a local college instead of pursuing my dream to go to MIT and get a PhD in physics. The weight of my potential was crushing me. During college, I went to see a psychologist, and while it helped a bit, it wasn't solving all of my problems. I still felt self-doubt. I felt like it was impossible for me to achieve what I was meant to in life. And once I got outside of college, I started looking for a job in an incredibly competitive job market in computer science. And I actually thought it was going to be possible to find a job with my crushing self-doubt and lack of belief in myself. And by now, I was pretty deep into my depression. I would beat myself up constantly and not believe in myself. Surprisingly, though, I did manage to find a job in the field. At first, I was so happy to have this job in my field. I was making decent money, but it slowly became a nightmare for me. I had an incredibly long commute where I woke up early just so I could get to work, and then I would work just to come home to go to sleep so I could get up early to go to work. The project that was assigned to me at first felt impossible with the resources that I had available, and I started falling deeper into my depression. And then COVID happened, in which I was happy that I no longer had to commute. I could work from home, but it didn't make things better. I was trapped in my room with my long-term partner, which our relationship began to struggle because of us being together all the time, especially while I was trying to work half of that time during the day. And then at work, I started bouncing around to different projects, and due to COVID, things were not progressing as fast as they needed to be, and eventually I was let go from my job. And at this point, I had hit the deepest part of my depression. I felt like I was never going to have this chance again. I was never going to find a job. I didn't want to be alive. I would sit on the ground and think about my life and just think I didn't want to be around anymore. And it's not just the job. It's that I had this crushing weight on me that I was supposed to be somebody, and I failed getting into my dream college. I didn't even get a PhD. I didn't even go into physics. I took took computer science because of some bad experiences. I got a job, but then I lost it. I had a hard time with my relationship at the time. I felt like nothing was looking up for me, and I just didn't want to feel the pain anymore. It wasn't easy, and part of me just wanted to sit on the floor all day long, just thinking about how terrible my life was and that I was going nowhere. But I did start making some steps, small steps. I hadn't been seeing the psychologist in a while, but I reached out to a coach, which is actually the coaching program that HealthyGamer has, and I did that for 6 months. And during that time, I also went to a psychoanalyst for about 2 months and used that to help try to get me out of depression. And I remember even telling them, like, I don't even want to be around. But I worked with them, and just like before, it didn't fix all of my problems. I had to do more. I started working on my mental health for myself, in addition to the coaching and psychoanalyst work that I was doing. I worked on meditation and other techniques, and I slowly began chipping away at my self-doubt. Even though I lost my job, I started to realize that I could get anywhere I wanted to in my life. I started breaking down my goals into manageable steps and then taking the smallest step forward to make progress. I focused on progress day by day. I started a journey to become the best version of myself, which is why this channel exists. It's the continuation of the journey that I had started 3 years ago. And one of the most important lessons I learned through my self-discovery is reframing my mindset. I've reframed my mindset on many, many things, but since then, but in this scenario, I reframed it from focusing on the outcome and more of what I can do, focusing on my actions and what I do every day rather than focusing on what is to come in the future. I was concentrating on what can I do now? What step can I take to make the day better? What can I take to make this day a win? And once I accepted that I could make progress every day towards this person that I wanted to be, there was no longer an impossible standard that I had to live up to. I just have the opportunity to do my best every single day. And there were days where I didn't do as much work as I wanted to. I fell back into old habits, or the doubt started creeping in. But the key is to keep pushing forward. I learned that I can't lose the fight unless I give up. Every day is a new opportunity to get back on track and make progress. And even when you mess up, you can start making it right in that moment. And while I am still currently working on my goal-setting abilities, I have found that working on daily progress pushes me forward. Every day that I work on my business, I make a YouTube video, or focus on my health and fitness, is one step forward towards my goal. And even if the doubt starts creeping in again, I know that consistency will continue to push me forward. Life is an ongoing journey. I haven't conquered it, but I push to make progress every single day. By focusing on the present and taking action, I continue to grow and get closer to my potential. And if you're struggling like I was, remember that you do have the power to change your story. Focus on making each day the best it can be. When setbacks happen, don't let them derail you. Get back and try again. Success is not about perfection. It's about perseverance and willingness to keep going on. Keep showing up for yourself. No matter how much you lose, you win if you keep fighting. Life is a journey, but it's one worth taking. By believing in yourself and focusing on daily progress, you can achieve great things. Remember, you have the strength to become the best version of yourself. Keep pushing forward one day at a time. And with that, thanks for watching, and let's go out and improve ourselves.